This image of this article, that image is actually from a different region of Africa. You don't know where it's from? Have a look. It's an image showing the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Oh, remind me never, ever, 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 ever to make political TikToks.
I saw the meeting that President Donald Trump had with the South African president, and it was interesting to say the least. I don't know where President Donald Trump is getting his information from, but he is convinced that all the media that he's seen around white South African farmers is just like the absolute truth.
What is up, YouTube? My name is Happiness and welcome to my channel. So, did anybody look what in is it the Oval Office where they were sitting? No, it's not the Oval Office. Where Trump and Ramaphosa were sitting on the table. It seems like I saw a jet. It seems like I really saw a jet. So, I don't know. That's why the president of South Africa, President Ramaphosa, our president, said, I am so sorry, Donald Trump. Unfortunately, I wish to give you a plane, but because of us, I don't have a plane. And then Trump said, no, if you would have given me a plane, then I would take it. But yeah, I really congratulate my president, President Cyril Ramaphosa, for keeping it calm, because in that room there were a lot of people like Johan Rupert, like J.D. Vance, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, the big names. They're really, really big names. But yeah, man, I congrats our president. But it's not all about what I have to say, but what people have to say. So let's hear what people feel about what they saw yesterday in that meeting.
President Trump finally had a meeting with the president of South Africa, and he showed him some documents showing evidence of genocide in South Africa. He showed this image of this article. Now, if you search this article and look at the image, that image is actually from a different region of Africa. You don't know where it's from? Have a look. It's an image showing the Democratic Republic of Congo, a region President Trump doesn't even know. He's like, the Congo, what is that? He said that a few months ago, remember? A region he doesn't care about. A region actually going through it, and that's been going through it for decades. Now, granted, this could be an AI image. You may not have been holding that, so fair enough. But it looks like an article. Now, if you zoom in, it mentions tribalism and Africa, which I understand, yes, Africa does have tribalism. But what does that have to do with the supposed genocide of the Afrikaners, the Boers, the Dutch? I mean, he's showing images from articles online. What proof are those articles showing? Then he showed Ramaphosa a video. Yeah, then Ramaphosa asked him, where exactly is this in South Africa? He's like, I don't know. So, I mean, it's not funny, but damn, man. Now, granted, South Africa, though it's nicknamed the Rainbow Nation, isn't really a Rainbow Nation. Yeah, there's a lot of problems in that nation. One of them being crime. South Africa has a high crime rate. So much crime that the private security sector is huge in South Africa, and it's one of the biggest in the world. Yeah, because the police are unable to take care of crime. Now, the crime is affecting most people on the nation. Yeah, mostly black people. Now, I'm not saying white people aren't affected. Of course they are affected. So if you do see white people getting unalived, getting attacked and so on, it's not just because, it's a calculated genocide. No, it's just the crime rates. South Africa needs help. South Africa has corruption, which needs to be addressed. Unfortunately, many people aren't addressing that. Personally, I think Trump should just be honest. Yeah, you're giving the Afrikaners refuge because of this dude. Yeah, this is the way he was looking at Ramaphosa. Man was looking at him like he was gonna do something. Like, I was like, go do something. There, go do something. You're gonna do nothing. But he's still dangerous. This dude is dangerous. Yeah, he has a lot of influence on Trump. He's the one that started this whole situation, this whole stuff. This is about money. This is about politics. And this is about his family history. He's from apartheid South Africa, after all. So yeah, just be honest. You gave the Afrikaners refuge because they're white. But the DRC, an image was showing from the DRC, you don't care. You don't even know what the DRC is. You don't care about them because they're black. Just to be honest. Yeah, many Trump supporters these days are being honest. Not all of them, of course, but many of them are talking about black fatigue. You're tired of people who look like me, of course. Just be honest. Just tell the truth. Yeah, tell the truth and move on. Yeah, if you do that, I'm pretty sure your supporters will rate you even more. But the rest of the world, I don't know, we will look at you as we're looking at you now, because it's pretty obvious what's going on here. It's like, it's not about their color. No, it is. Yeah, you wouldn't expedite someone from Congo in refuge, even though they're going through it. So why are you doing it for them? Yeah, exactly.
I hope that President Trump and the American cabinet do not buy Cyril Ramaphosa, John Steenhuisen, Parks Tau, Anton Rupert. Do not buy the rubbish spewed by those people in that meeting yesterday between South Africa and the USA. For those of you doubting the veracity of the evidence presented by President Trump in terms of what essentially is a focus on white farmers, the white farming community, and the white community generally in South Africa, I suggest you take a drive to Bothaville, which is where, by the way, NAMPO takes place, which is where John Steenhuisen was said to have just come back from, a meeting with farmers nationally at NAMPO every year in Bothaville. Because what you will see is the equivalent of a wall of remembrance to all of the white people who have been killed as farmers, as farmhands, etc. And there are literally thousands of names up on that board. So when Trump points to the white crosses and the cavalcade, paying honor and respect to people who have died, white people who have died, farming for South Africa, running the agro sector for South Africa, that's real. That's not imagined. That's not a fiction. There were names, there were photographs on every one of those white crosses that people were coming to respect and remember. The bottom line is, there is crime generally in South Africa, and the vast majority of people dying from crime in South Africa are in fact African and not white people. But proportionately, and with a significant strategic intent, the white community in South Africa are targeted. They're either targeted physically in terms of crime, in terms of fraud, in terms of the economy and the jobs market. But for whatever reason and in whichever way, the white community are second-class citizens in South Africa. And for anyone to deny that is nonsensical.
Oh, remind me never, ever, 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 ever to make political TikToks. Because, wow, the comments are actually quite wild. But it's not even that. It's like, I understand we're going to have vastly differing political views, and we're going to have vastly different views on what the country is. But the facts are the facts. And we watched the interview yesterday. It was a very interesting interview. A few things happened on it. But, you know, I read some of the comments that have happened on my post, and they're a bit concerning, right? And I'm not going to delve into things like Swart Gafar and white privilege, because these are real things, right? And it seems to me as if we're going to have all these debates about it, and we're going to come up with these things that are not true, like genocides that are not really happening in this country. And it's scary, but okay.
I saw the meeting that President Donald Trump had with the South African president, and it was interesting to say the least. I don't know where President Donald Trump is getting his information from, but he is convinced that all the media that he's seen around white South African farmers being is just like the absolute truth. And I'm not saying countries don't have propaganda and don't manipulate media, but the South African president was just like, bro, that's not true. Well, he didn't say that's not true. What he said was farmers are getting, no matter what their race is. So it's just, you know, it's odd that you're focused on the white farmers, but it's like we have a problem with farmers being like, people take land in South Africa. It don't matter what race you are. But President Donald Trump was not hearing. He had articles printed up. He even stopped the meeting to play some video. I couldn't see the video from my angle, But I heard it, and I know what video he was playing because I've seen that video. He was playing when some leader was singing that song, that South African song. They talk about the farmer and the Boer and all that. Then he also showed a clip of the cars lined up riding past the white crosses that's been on social media. And people saying those are the white farmers that have been. And it was funny because the South African president was like, "Where is that? I've never seen that. I've never seen that." And President Trump was like, "Oh yeah, that's the spot where, they buried all the white farmers and they go to appreciate them. They line up." And the South African president was like, "I have no idea where that is." He was like, "Yeah, team." He's like, when we go back home, let's get on that. Let's find out where this place is." And President Donald Trump is just convinced that he's showing the president of South Africa more about his country than he knows. Oh my God. I applaud the president of South Africa's decorum during that meeting because he was so patient with President Donald Trump and saying, like, "Look here, at this point, I don't care what you believe. Let's just find a way to work together, to be partners and and get along, trade, do whatever we got to do to be partners." Like, believe what you want to believe, bro. I'm here to work. I don't know about you. Oh, man, that meeting was way funnier than it should have been.
So in today's episode of Donald Trump Embarrasses Himself and the Entire Country in the Process, he had a meeting today with the South African president and launched into a tirade about how there is, quote unquote, white genocide happening in South Africa. And to be clear, there is not white genocide going on in South Africa. No human rights groups say that there is. The government doesn't say that there is. No news outlets say that it is. This is the work of Elon Musk and trying to protect these rich colonial farmers and move them to the United States on our dime. All while he is telling other people who are trying to come to this country and claim refugee status to not come here. So if you're keeping score at home, brown people who claim refugee status are not welcome in the United States, and white South African farmers who are not facing any sort of need for a refugee status are being granted entry. Like, if these guys don't want to be called racist, they really need to stop doing racist shit like this. It is so obvious to anyone paying attention that they are clearly letting these people come in because they're white, and they're keeping the other people out because they are black and brown.
President Trump is going to go down in history for being one, if not the best president of the United States, period. Because he's hit a level like the rest of us. We don't want to hear the sorry, sad stories. And we don't want to hear any more lies. We've been lied to long enough. Did you guys see that he met with the president of South Africa? And President Trump and his no-nonsense, it is so refreshing to see. Like, listen. So basically, one of the reporters said, "What is it going to take for you, Donald Trump, basically, to admit there's no genocide against white people in South Africa?" And then this happened.
What will it take for you to be convinced that there's no white genocide in South Africa?
Well, I can answer that for President. It's for him. No, seriously.
I'd rather have him answer.
Yeah, I'd rather answer that. It will be.
Our president will respond to you.
Yeah, let me,
Thank you, Mr. President.
It will take President Trump listening to the voices of South Africans, some of whom are his good friends.
Then President Trump came back and was like, "Oh yeah, that's not happening. Genocide, white farmers are not being killed. Watch this."
Is Natalie here? Somebody here to turn that? I could show you a couple of things, and I have to. It has to be responded to.
Yeah, sure.
Let me see the articles, please, if you would. And turn the lights down. Turn the lights down, and just put this on. It's right behind you.
The poor, the farmer, the poor, the farmer,
What do you say? We've been seeing it in America. We've seen that there are a lot of white South African farmers, thousands of them, that are getting killed and getting their land took. We gotta stop the cap. You guys know exactly what you're doing. And it really irritated me watching the president of South Africa act like he does not know what President Trump is talking about. He's completely oblivious to what's been going on, but you're the president of South Africa. How do you not know? We're the days of being lied to, this done. Like, we're America, we're here. We need to come together as a country and stop all this other unnecessary crap. And killing white farmers simply because they're white is racist. And that's why, if you guys are completely uncertain of why did Trump let white Afrikaners come, they're farmers, come to America, but you're kicking out all of the illegal immigrant, bitch, that's not even the same thing. They're being massacred. That's what's going on in South Africa. Okay, stupid? That's not the same thing as people breaking into our country illegally and committing crimes. And getting on public assistance and shit, and where we gotta pay for it. That's not the same damn thing. These people add value to our country. They're farmers. They can farm. I love President Trump. That's my president. I wish he could be the president of the United States for the rest of my life. But JD Vance 2028. Yeah.
Can we stop letting Donald Trump meet with world leaders? Please, how do we make this happen? President Trump confronted South African President Cyril Ramaphosa and accused his government of mass killings and land seizures targeting white people. And the reality is South Africa does have one of the world's highest crime rates, and the vast majority of victims are black South Africans, not white South Africans. Despite online chatter, there's no evidence of a white genocide or state-sanctioned land grabs. This moment actually reminds us of the time he met with Zelensky and ambushed him in front of the entire world as well. And then, said out loud, well, I guess America is willing to take a bribe if you're going to send us a jet like our friends in the Middle East did.
Sorry, I don't have a plane to give you.
I wish you did. I would take it. If your country offered the United States Air Force a plane, I would take it.
Okay.
He's saying this on a national stage, people. This is embarrassing. It's corruption. It's everything that's wrong in the world. As he's telling a world leader what's happening in his country, and none of it's true, as he decides to take in the white refugees. Those are the good ones, according to Trump land. And everyone else, get out. But yes, more embarrassing moments with Trump and world leaders on a national stage. It's embarrassing, spreading lies, quietly saying he would take bribes on a national stage. Just a bad look for America. Can we please stop Donald from meeting with world leaders? Please.
Okay, guys, since that meeting happened, I hope that there will be change and whatever propaganda that was being spread as false rumors would stop, because now we can prove that there is no farm killings in South Africa. There is no farm killings in South Africa, and what we can be sure of is that there is no farm killings in South Africa. That's what I can say. So, yes, there's no white genocide, but yes, thank you for watching my channel. Please like and subscribe, and let's meet up to the next video. And how I like to say it, guys, peace out.